Imagine, if you will, a place of quiet beauty, where sun-kissed shores met tranquil azure seas. Then, picture that same island scarred, its very soul shattered, a landscape born of unimaginable fire. Here, 200,000 souls would be extinguished in just 82 days. An island turned into a vast, silent graveyard. This was not merely a battle, it was hell unleashed, the final, most brutal chapter of history's greatest war. By early 1945, in Europe, the shadow of Nazi Germany was finally receding. Hope began to bloom. But across the vast, blue canvas of the Pacific, the conflict raged with unyielding, terrifying ferocity still. The Allied advance had been a relentless march, island by hard-won island, ever closer to Japan's heartland. Japan, though cornered, remained unyielding. Their resolve, a formidable, almost unbreakable shield even then. Yet, one last, colossal leap remained. A final, crucial stepping stone for the ultimate invasion was needed. This was Okinawa, a beautiful, unsuspecting island, barely a whisper on the global stage. Until then, its strategic location was undeniable. A vital platform for air bases, a crucial forward operating post. From here, air power could strike directly at the Japanese mainland. A devastating, relentless, crucial blow. And for the vast Allied fleet, it offered an indispensable naval staging ground, a final gathering place. Okinawa, therefore, became the final doorstep, the gateway to a land where countless more lives hung. The plan, codenamed Operation Downfall, was the largest invasion ever conceived. Okinawa was its grim prelude. The world held its breath in the spring of 1945. A new chapter, dark and violent, was about to unfold. This island, once peaceful, was destined to become the crucible where humanity's darkest impulses clashed. A deceptive calm hung in the air. The gentle breeze carried no whispers of the tempest soon to arrive. Soon, the waters would churn with ships, the skies would tear with fire, and the land would bleed. This story, my friends, is not just of strategy, but of immense, profound, heartbreaking human cost. It's about the whispers of 200,000 souls, gone too soon, echoing across time and barren lands. Let us walk together through this profound history, feeling the echoes of a typhoon made of steel. The Great War's tide, slow but unstoppable, had been rolling for years, island by weary island. Each speck of land, a battle fought. A step closer, the Allies drew a tightening circle. These were hard-won victories, paid for in grit and blood, inching ever nearer to the heartland. From Guadalcanal to Iwo Jima, the strategy was clear, relentless, methodical, deeply costly advances. They called it island hopping, but it was more like walking through fire, step by agonizing step. With each island secured, the distance between Allied forces and Japan's home islands shrank dramatically. The sheer scale of this force, now poised within striking distance, was a sight to behold. For Japan, however, this tightening circle only hardened their resolve, pushing them to extremes. Their empire, once vast, now recoiled upon itself. But their spirit remained fiercely unbroken. Surrender was not an option, not a concept. It was a betrayal of everything they held sacred. They were cornered, yes, but like a wounded animal, their ferocity only intensified with desperation. Every inch of ground became consecrated, a testament to an unyielding, deeply personal defiance. They would defend not just territory, but their very soul, with a commitment that defied reason. The mantra was simple, brutal, absolute: death before dishonor. A terrifying promise made. This wasn't just tactics, it was a profound spiritual conviction, a sacrifice they embraced completely. Facing this unyielding resolve, the Allies knew the final approach to Japan would be unlike any other. To meet this challenge, America assembled a formidable force, the United States 10th Army. This was a true cross-branch behemoth, integrating Army, Marine, and naval might, a unified front. Their numbers were staggering, their firepower immense, a testament to industrial and military prowess. Opposing them stood Lieutenant General Mitsuru Ushijima, and his Imperial Japanese 32nd Army, a mosaic of forces, seasoned regular army soldiers, hardened by years of brutal fighting. Then there were the naval infantry, fiercely loyal and highly trained, ready to defend their coast. And heartbreakingly, conscripted Okinawan locals, forced into this desperate, bloody defense of their homeland. This island, Okinawa, would become known by a chilling name, the Typhoon of Steel, a premonition of the sheer, unimaginable ferocity that would soon engulf this small, beautiful place. The world had never seen such a concentration of firepower. It was an apocalyptic forecast. Okinawa held immense strategic value, destined to be the final staging ground. It was the terrifying prelude to Operation Downfall, the ultimate, brutal invasion of Japan. This island was to be the anvil upon which Japan's fate, and perhaps the world's, would be forged. The quiet before the storm, a calm that belied the unspeakable tempest brewing on the horizon. The world held its breath, poised on the edge of a precipice, as dawn painted the eastern sky. Operation Iceberg, they called it. A chilling name for what was to unfold, a silent, deadly promise. April 1st, 1945. Not a day for fools, but for the beginning of a profound, devastating reckoning. A great steel tide, carrying thousands of young men, churned the Pacific waters toward a distant island. The ramps hissed down, revealing not fire and fury, but an unsettling, almost serene, empty shore. Barely a whisper greeted them. Just the gentle surf washing over the sand, an unexpected, eerie welcome. Every fiber in their being screamed danger, yet the land remained silent, a profound quietude that unnerved. They dug their foxholes, not under fire but beneath a sky that felt too calm, too deceptively peaceful. Where were the defenders? Where was the fury they had steeled themselves to face? It felt profoundly wrong. A flag unfurled, a silent claim on ground that surrendered too easily, too quietly, sparking deeper anxieties. Their training had prepared them for hellfire, for beaches soaked in blood, for a desperate, furious defense. Memories of islands like Iwo Jima still haunted them, where every inch of ground was bought with precious lives. Experienced commanders knew this quiet was a phantom, a cunning veil hiding something far more sinister inland. The calm itself was a weapon, eroding their certainty, sowing seeds of doubt about what awaited them ahead. Even the birds seemed to hold a secret, their sudden flight, a small, unsettling premonition of coming sorrow. Before Okinawa, a smaller, quieter drama unfolded. The Kurama Islands, a crucial strategic stepping stone. These smaller islets were seized swiftly, their capture a vital prelude, securing safe harbors for the fleet. They became a vital artery, a temporary home for weary ships, a lifeline for the massive invasion to come. Yet, whispers of desperate resistance, of untold personal tragedies, lingered in the shadows of those rocks. From their vantage, Okinawa loomed, a green, sleeping giant, holding its dark secrets close to its heart. But deep within that green expanse, a man named Ushijima had woven a formidable, cunning strategy. He defied tradition. No suicidal charges on the beaches, no wasteful defense of the shoreline itself. His genius lay in the earth, not on the sand. A network of defenses deep within the island's core. Caves became strongholds, tunnels became arteries, turning the very island into an unbreakable living fortress. Layer upon layer of resistance, each designed to bleed the invader slowly, relentlessly, without mercy. His goal was simple yet terrifying: attrition, to draw out the conflict, to exhaust every last resource, to make every step forward cost dearly, draining their spirit, their resolve, their very essence. So, the stage was set, the players introduced, a quiet beginning holding the breath of a terrible storm. This deceptive calm, this beautiful, silent morning, was merely the gentle breath before the hurricane struck. The island itself waited, a silent witness to the profound, unimaginable human cost about to unfold. The initial landing felt almost a dream, a quiet ballet of men on sun-kissed sands, deceptive calm. Hope flickered, a fragile flame against the vast unknown. They sought the war's swift, decisive end. Step by step, they ventured from the shore's embrace, pushing deeper into the island's green heart. Soon the gentle slopes gave way to something far more ancient and unyielding beneath their feet. A whisper of unease stirred the air. The island's true nature began to slowly reveal itself. This wasn't a simple advance. Hidden eyes watched every move, patient, silent, deadly. The easy landing quickly faded, replaced by the heavy truth of the ground itself becoming an enemy. They pressed on, into shadows where every rustle could mean an ambush, a sudden, brutal shock. What awaited them was not a battle line, but a labyrinth. The Shuri Line, a fortress. It was an intricate web, woven by countless hands, designed to bleed any invader dry. The very earth seemed to rise in defiance, a vast, complex shield of rock and steel. Beneath the surface, a hidden world lay coiled, waiting. Tunnels, caves, a subterranean war. Every hill, every ridge, every seemingly innocuous spot held a silent, deadly surprise. Positions interlocked, their vision overlapping, creating a killing zone, impossible to escape. And the land itself, unforgiving, treacherous, became another formidable, wearying opponent. Every foot gained was paid for in blood and sweat, a relentless, soul-crushing climb. The enemy was everywhere and nowhere, emerging from cracks, disappearing into the earth. This was a war of relentless attrition, fought inch by agonizing inch, against an unseen foe. To clear these defenses required unimaginable courage. Fire was often the only brutal answer. Deep within the island's belly, the Japanese waited, resolute, often preferring death to capture. It was a primordial fight, man against man, in the suffocating darkness of underground tunnels. Grenades became tools of both offense and grim necessity, a way to clear the unseen enemy. Each dark passage held its own chilling secret, its own desperate, terrifying final confrontation. The psychological toll was immense. Every shadow, every sound, a harbinger of potential doom. They burrowed into the very rock, creating a fortress that bled and continued to bleed, endlessly. Artillery rained down, yet these hardened positions, like stubborn teeth, refused to yield. The landscape transformed into an alien, scarred world, a testament to the savagery unfolding. Each moment brought the visceral reality of constant danger, a dance with grim, relentless fate. Days blurred into weeks, marked by the constant roar of battle, the stench of earth and decay. This was the Shuri Line, an almost insurmountable barrier, demanding an unimaginable human cost. Then came names etched into memory, places of profound, terrible sacrifice. Sugarloaf Hill. It seemed a small hump of earth, yet it commanded the field, holding life and death. Wave after wave, men climbed, fought, fell, only to have another brave soul replace them. 3 hills, 3 battles, 3 devastating attempts to break through this desperate stronghold. The days bled into nights, the hill a crucible, testing the very limits of human endurance. Beyond lay another terror, the Maida Escarpment, nicknamed Hacksaw Ridge, a vertical hell. It soared upward, unforgiving rock, riddled with cunningly concealed caves, spitting deadly fire. Every handhold, every foothold, a desperate gamble against the enemy above, below, within. Here, the fight became even more intimate, personal, in the oppressive gloom of the rock. Cave to cave, bunker to bunker, they advanced, facing an enemy committed beyond measure. The enemy's fierce resolve, their preference for death, began to gnaw at the very soul. It was a war of nerves, an unraveling of the spirit, deep in this unforgiving island. This wasn't just physical combat. It was a profound, agonizing battle for the human spirit. Okinawa became a crucible, forging courage, despair, and an understanding of war's ultimate cost. Here, on this small island, the very earth and sea would scream in a symphony of fire. The battle for Okinawa was not merely a clash on land. It was a desperate war fought on every front. From the churning seas to the island's rocky caves, the struggle was relentless, brutal, and all-encompassing. Each man, whether at sea or ashore, faced a horror beyond imagining, a test of spirit. As the Allies approached, Japan unveiled its most desperate, most terrifying weapon, the kamikaze. These were young men, often barely more than boys, prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice. Their mission was simple, horrifying, to become a living guided missile against the ships. The sky above Okinawa became a canvas for unimaginable terror, painted with desperate fiery streaks. A low hum, growing to a roar, then a scream. Death descended from the brilliant blue. Impact, a sickening shudder, then fire and twisted metal, a ship's heart torn asunder. Amidst the chaos, brave souls fought back, against the flames, against the relentless, suicidal will. Never before had so many ships faced such a personal, horrific threat from above. Each strike was a searing wound, a testament to a desperate, unyielding national resolve. One after another, the steel titans of the fleet were struck, their mighty hulls scarred. The radar screens became a cruel oracle, forecasting waves of deadly, human-guided projectiles. A storm of steel met the incoming threats, desperate prayers mingling with the deafening roar. When the smoke cleared, the terrible cost was evident, etched into every splintered beam. Human lives, countless brave souls, paid the ultimate price for this brutal, unending struggle. The strain was immense, a psychological toll that gnawed at even the strongest wills. How do you fight an enemy willing to give everything? How do you cope with such a foe? Even the nights offered little respite. The unseen threat always lingered, a shadow in the dark. This was the longest sustained carrier campaign of World War II, a relentless, bloody attrition. They fought not just for victory, but for a return home, a simple life beyond the war. This vast armada, a testament to Allied might, was constantly on edge, constantly under threat. The destroyers, the little tin cans, danced with death, protecting the larger, slower giants. Even after a strike, the battle wasn't over. Survival was a fight against fire and chaos. The constant terror etched lines of weariness onto their faces, a profound burden upon their souls. The price of each attack was measured in pain and suffering, in lives forever changed. Each lost comrade, each shattered ship, echoed a painful, profound loss, a heavy toll. The numbers told a story of immense sacrifice, a grim tally of brave men's last breath. Meanwhile, on the island, a different kind of horror unfolded, equally brutal, equally unforgiving. The Japanese defenders had turned Okinawa into a fortress, a labyrinth of death traps. Every inch of ground was contested, every cave, every ridge, a crucible of combat. The advance was agonizingly slow, each step measured in blood, sweat, and profound courage. Names like Sugarloaf Hill became etched in history, markers of unimaginable sacrifice. The steel typhoon was not just at sea, it raged on land, shredding nerves and bodies. From deep within their tunnels, the Japanese fought with a fierce, desperate, unyielding determination. The terrain itself was an enemy, favoring the defenders, making every assault a costly gamble. Ingenuity was required from both sides. Every trick, every tactic was employed to survive. Even in their desperation, we find glimpses of humanity, of longing for what was lost. Amidst the horror, small moments of connection, of shared humanity, offered fleeting solace. Bravery on both sides shone brightly, a testament to the human spirit in war's darkest hour. The cost of Okinawa was immense, a profound scar on the earth and in countless hearts. And as the waves still break, they whisper tales of sacrifice, courage, and enduring human spirit. The Shuri Line, a name whispered with dread. It was the heart of an island's last, desperate defiance. Gathering strength, the Allies prepared for a final push. A storm of steel was about to break upon Okinawa. From the sea, a thunderous symphony began. Naval guns roared, shaking the very foundations of the land. Then came the land's own fury. Artillery barrages, endless and terrifying, tore at the ancient earth. Above, wings of iron brought their own wrath. The sky rained fire, erasing familiar landscapes forever. It was a concert of destruction, an overwhelming torrent of power. The island groaned under its impossible weight. Deep beneath, the Japanese waited. Holding on to a desperate hope, they braced for the inevitable horror. Through the maelstrom, American soldiers pushed. Each step was a testament to courage, a gamble with destiny. Smoke and dust blurred all distinctions. Friend and foe, life and death, dissolved into a terrifying gray. From the hidden depths, a furious response. Machine guns barked, spitting defiance against overwhelming odds. Into the dark mouths of caves, liquid fire poured, a weapon of terror, burning away human resistance. In the ditches and tunnels, the fight became personal. Up close, brutal, where life hung by a thread. Shuri Castle stood as a defiant heart. Yet, even stone crumbles under such sustained, merciless onslaught. Look into their eyes, the weary souls. Exhaustion etched deep, a quiet prayer for peace, for an end. The earth itself trembled, a constant, violent tremor. There was no escaping the unending rhythm of war. Below ground, a different battle waged. A silent, claustrophobic struggle in the dark, damp earth. Then came the desperate charges, a wave of bodies, a fanatical devotion, a final, terrible sacrifice. Even from the sky, despair took flight. Kamikaze pilots, a final, fiery commitment to a lost cause. Every inch of ground was a fortress, built with cunning, defended with unyielding, terrifying resolve. And then, the rains came, turning the battleground into a muddy hell, compounding every suffering. The cost was immeasurable, a harvest of sorrow. Every life lost, a story untold, a future unlived. In moments of quiet mercy, medics toiled, a small comfort offered amidst the deafening, brutal symphony of war. Perhaps a letter from home, a fragile link, reminding them of a world beyond this terrible, endless conflict. High above, unseen eyes directed fate, precision and terror, orchestrated from a distant, watchful perch. Steel beasts led the charge, invincible and relentless, pushing forward, grinding the earth beneath their monstrous tracks. Foot soldiers followed closely, finding fleeting safety, shadows in the wake of giants, inching towards an uncertain future. The air crackled with raw power, endless eruptions, a landscape transformed into a living, breathing, terrifying inferno. What was once verdant earth, now broken, a testament to man's capacity for utter, unforgiving destruction. The Japanese, unyielding, held fast, their spirit unbroken, even as hope faded under overwhelming force. Fear, a universal language, spoken by all, etched in every face, a shared burden in this human tragedy. Then, a breach, a small crack in the seemingly impenetrable wall, a glimmer of hope, hard won, dearly paid. Through the opening, a torrent of strength, pressing inward, relentlessly, towards the very heart of resistance. The Japanese fought with fanatical fury. Every cave, every rock, a desperate, final stand. Shuri Castle, now engulfed in flames, its proud walls crumbling, a tragic end to a long, storied past. The mighty fortress finally fell, a monument to destruction, its spirit broken, its ancient stones scattered. The command was given: retreat south, a bitter pill, a desperate flight into the unknown. Under the cloak of darkness they vanished, a desperate exodus, seeking refuge in the island's shadowed embrace. The victors advanced, finding only ghosts. The silence, now deafening, after such a raging tempest. A desperate flight south, chaos unfolding. Soldiers and civilians entwined in a desperate shared struggle. From above, a river of despair flowed, a human tide desperately seeking escape from the inevitable. Yet, pockets of resistance flickered still, small, defiant embers against a world now consumed by fire. The island lay wounded, scarred beyond recognition, a landscape forever changed by the brutal hand of war. Then, a strange, profound silence fell. The echoes of battle, now only whispered memories on the wind. Victory was ours, but at what terrible price? the lingering shadow of sacrifice, forever etched upon the soul. The great storm had passed, but its aftermath brought no relief, only a profound and heavy sense of enduring grief. Yet, the fighting was far from over. A grim, brutal task remained in the island's jagged, unforgiving southern pockets. This was the brutal, tragic aftermath, not a surrender, but a slow, agonizing process of desperate, continued resistance. The southern tip of Okinawa was a labyrinth, a jagged, ancient landscape turned into a fortress of final, bitter defiance. Fragmented pockets of Japanese soldiers, fiercely loyal, clung to life within these damp, unforgiving subterranean shelters. Each cave, each ridge, demanded painstaking, dangerous clearance. This mopping up was a slow, agonizing grind. No grand charges here, only desperate, close-quarters combat, often in suffocating darkness, with a quiet, terrible resolve. But amidst this, another tragedy unfolded, often unseen: the devastating fate of Okinawa's innocent people. They were caught, like tender blades of grass, between two warring giants, their ancient home becoming a crucible. Their lives, their futures, were ripped apart by forces far beyond their understanding or their gentle control. The relentless crossfire became their constant companion, a terrifying, indiscriminate force that stole countless lives. Tens of thousands perished, not soldiers but fathers, mothers, children, simply people living on their ancestral land. Under immense Japanese coercion and fear of atrocities, many Okinawans made the agonizing final choice of suicide. They were told invasion meant unspeakable horrors from the enemy, a cruel deception feeding a profound, collective terror. These innocent souls, once vibrant, were driven to unimaginable despair, choosing a tragic, irreversible path of no return. Other countless lives were simply extinguished by the indiscriminate fire, caught in the inferno of two nations' wrath, their voices silenced, their dreams shattered, a generation lost, sacrificed on the altar of a faraway war. Okinawa, once verdant and peaceful, was now utterly transformed, a scarred, broken testament to the Typhoon of Steel. Every inch bore witness to unimaginable violence, a landscape weeping with the weight of so much concentrated fury. The very earth bled, forever etched with the marks of that terrible struggle, a somber monument to human folly. Meanwhile, deep within Mabuni Cave, General Ushijima and his loyal staff knew their time, their fight, was ending. With the dawn of June 22nd, they performed their ritual seppuku, a final, somber act of samurai honor. Their deaths marked the official, tragic end of organized Japanese resistance on the scarred, haunted island of Okinawa. Years have passed, dear friend, since those desperate days. Yet, Okinawa's story echoes deeply within us. It's not just history, it's a profound testament to human endurance, loss, and the cost of war. The island itself whispers its grim legacy, etched into the very soil, never truly forgotten. We must remember the true measure of war, the staggering sum of lives tragically extinguished here. More than 200,000 souls vanished into the smoke and fury of that distant spring. The gentle Okinawan people bore the cruelest burden, their homes, their lives, irrevocably shattered. Nearly 90,000 innocent Okinawan civilians perished, a wound that time can never fully heal. 77,000 Japanese soldiers, far from home, met their fate in Okinawa's brutal landscape, and 14,000 young American servicemen made the ultimate sacrifice, far across the ocean. Each name a story, each life a world extinguished, an unbearable weight of collective human sorrow. Okinawa became a grim, bloody preview, a chilling glimpse into an abyss yet to come. What we witnessed here was merely a taste of what an invasion of mainland Japan would demand. Operation Downfall, the planned invasion, loomed with unimaginable horror, a terrible cost for all. The sheer, brutal cost of Okinawa profoundly influenced decisions far from this war-torn island. The fear of countless more casualties pushed humanity towards an unthinkable, desperate alternative. This small island's suffering became a silent, yet powerful factor in history's darkest hour. So, in a profound, devastating way, Okinawa changed the very course of the war's end. After the guns fell silent, Okinawa began its long, arduous journey of healing and rebirth. After years of occupation, this precious land was eventually returned to its Japanese homeland. Yet, even today, Okinawa carries another legacy: a crucial, complex, strategic military presence. The echoes of 1,945 linger, manifesting in daily lives and ongoing discussions for peace. Okinawa stands as an indelible testament in history, a sobering lesson we must never forget. Its story is not just of battle, but of resilience, enduring hope, and humanity's solemn cost. We stand now amidst the quiet echoes of a storm, a steel typhoon that scarred both land and soul profoundly. Okinawa, a testament to total war's relentless, unfeeling grip, where humanity's darkness was laid bare. The sheer brutality, a truth whispered by every broken stone, every lost life, every tear shed. The agonizing creed of death before dishonor drove men to choices we can barely comprehend now, even today. What an unbearable weight! That final leap, the desperate resolve etched into so many young faces, a heartbreaking cost paid in blood, a sacrifice born of conviction, though to what ultimate end? From American shores to Okinawan sands, profound sacrifices were offered, each life a universe extinguished forever. Fathers, sons, brothers, all entangled in this crucible, their futures stolen by war's cruel hand. The island bore witness, holding the stories of all who fought, all who fell, all who endured. Okinawa's legacy endures, a solemn lesson etched deep into the collective human spirit and memory. The steel typhoon passed, yet its echoes resonate, reminding us of war's ultimate, tragic futility. If this profound, sobering story moved you, please hit that like button, dear friend. Subscribe for more historical deep dives. Let's explore these important whispered histories together always. And tell us in the comments, what aspect of Okinawa's battle surprised you most, truly?